everyone, I am Matt Williamson. It is late on Friday, just walking in the door from the facility. Day 2 of the draft is in the books, and I give it my stamp of approval. I think they did a nice job here. Now, we know the tackle in round 1 I adored, and that worked out really, really well. And a lot of you, rightfully so, were upset that, well, what are we going to do about center? Let's keep our fingers crossed. Well, Omar Khan has shown that he understands and knows when to hold them and when to fold them on a draft board, and was able to hold his water and get the center they wanted. I can tell you right now, they preferred Frazier to Powers Johnson. That's not that they didn't like Powers Johnson, but Zach Frazier from West Virginia was the pick at 51. And I'm sure a lot of you guys were doing jumping jacks, and I was very happy about it too. What a great feeling to be like, wow, the offensive line is done. You have a really good set of guards that are veterans that are basically in their prime. And then your other 3 starters are all first or second year high picks. That's a rare combination to have. And you have some depth now with Moore and Herbig, et cetera, et cetera. So Frazier's a really good player. His playing temperament, his intelligence, toughness is going to play really well in this town. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wes Euler. I was on the air with him a bunch. He's a friend. We've done a lot of radio together. But he's a huge WVU guy. And he knows Frazier well. He's interviewed him. He's hung out with him. And just had story after story about what a great person he is, how much football means to him and his family, the wrestling background. Good stuff. I mean, all really good stuff. And as a player, I don't think Frazier's a top athlete. I think he's fine. He's good. I don't think he's a great physical specimen. He's not the biggest, strongest, best-looking center you ever saw. But grip strength, leverage, technique, smarts, understanding of the position. And I want to make sure I say this too. Their 4 picks to date have played a lot of football combined. Like Mr. Rooney came out and said, we're here to win now. I'm tired of being patient. Well, all their picks have played a lot of snaps, including Frazier. So he's a plug-and-play starting center. I don't think he'll ever be Dermontti Dawson, but I think he'll be a top 5 to 10 center before long, and for a long time. Knock on wood, he stays healthy. It's a real solid pick. They held their water. They didn't have to give anything up. I mean, I was getting tweets from you guys. Trade one of those 3rd-round picks, get up to the early portion of day 2 and go take Frazier. Didn't have to. Great work by the front office here. I really do approve of the pick. It is a very comforting feeling to know that the O-line is in this situation. BetOnline continues to be your number 1 source for all your basketball wagering. With all the up-to-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use our promo code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V, capital B, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So then they had to wait until the 20th pick in the 3rd round and then the 35th pick in the 3rd round to select the Wilsons. Roman Wilson from Michigan, wide receiver. Payton Wilson, NC State, linebacker. Let's start with Roman. Now, the Steelers have exceptional Michigan ties. I know Devin Bush didn't work out. But it's a program they trust. They have good sources there. And I forget who it was I read on Twitter. When the Steelers took Roman Wilson, they called him the anti-Deontay Johnson. And what they meant with that is the toughness, the blocker, the reliability, the do what he's coached to do factor. Wilson has it. Deontay didn't. Now, he was mocked somewhat often early in the process, and even up till the past couple weeks, to the Steelers' second round. And I didn't like that. My reasoning is I think he's pretty close to a slot only, and he has a lot of work to do in two areas. Getting off press man coverage and after the catch stuff. Okay. So he's a vertical slot, but he blocks. He's tough. He's high character. He's all the Harbaugh stuff you would expect. And he's fast. He's pretty good coming in and out of his breaks. He's got somewhat of a small catching radius, but he has very few drops on tape. So he's short-handed. He does go over the middle. This doesn't make a lot of people miss. He's just not real elusive. A lot of his explosiveness, and he has a lot of explosiveness, is kind of straight line-ish. In a burst, acceleration, his 40, his 10, his 20, all those things are good. But shuttles and things aren't great, especially for a shorter, smaller guy. But they schemed him up a lot. They had him moving pre-snap, and I'm sure the Steelers have that in mind as well. He's just not going to line up on the line of scrimmage with Sauce Gardner putting his hands all over him trying to get off the line. That's not how they'll use him. So I think he's a really good player for 20th pick in the third round. He has explosive downfield capabilities. He's played a lot of serious football on a serious football team against serious competition. So again, I think a lot of these guys are going to help right away. All of them, to be honest with you. But I don't think the receiver problem is fixed. I mean, I still think they're a Cortland Sutton away or something like that. Another big-bodied Pickens look-alike, prototypical X-type guy on the line of scrimmage, tough guy, that contested catch winner, ball winner type, away from having a complete receiving corps. I would also be a little concerned from Calvin Austin, too. There's a little bit of similarities between Roman and Austin, and Roman's making the team. Now let's talk Payton Wilson. Really interesting. They had him in for a visit, and when we talked, 30 visits, I thought, they don't really need a linebacker, is what I told you guys on the podcast, but I'm sure they want to check this guy's medicals out. And his medicals are alarming. I mean, he doesn't have an ACL in one knee. Does it remind you of a Georgia receiver that went on to have Hall of Fame Case that got drafted around this time many years ago in Hines Ward? Similar. I'm not saying Payton Wilson's going to do all those things, but he has an extensive injury medical history. But he's been on the field now for 2 years straight. He's tall. He's just about 6'4". He's well built. He's a great athlete. And he has really short arms, which is strange. It's T-Rex-like. He's short-armed and medical. Those are the negatives. You can live with short arms in the third round, and they can apparently live with medical. So let's talk about that medical for a little. Sometimes that just means we don't think he's going to have a long career. We're going to have to manage him. He might not be able to practice on Wednesdays much. Probably only get 4 years out of him and send him on his way. Okay? It's a third-round pick. Now, speaking of medical, I also don't think this screams a vote of confidence for Holcomb. Is he going to be ready opening day? Wilson, you don't draft Wilson for tomorrow. You draft Wilson for today. He is a plug-and-play linebacker, and I'll get to his strengths here in a minute. And Queen's going to be out there every snap. I think Roberts was best shown. He excelled in this area, past that, but I think Roberts is best in a trio, in a rotation, as a situational guy. And Wilson, I think, will be that third piece or second piece. You know what I mean? Now, where does that leave Holcomb? No one said anything about it. I'm not giving you any scoop here, but it just makes me wonder when they think he's ready. And even take it a step further, does that mean, well, maybe we'll just cut him and save the cap space? It's late. I have not looked into Holcomb's cap situation. Maybe some of you even know it. I would imagine you can pick up a couple more million. That would be a shame, but this business is rough. As for what Wilson does well, everything. He really does. And he was ACC Defensive Player of the Year. He won the Butkus Award as the best linebacker in college football last year. And he clearly was the best linebacker in football last year. He blitzes. He plays the run. He is fast. He has a great feel for coverage, man or zone. he's an exceptional football player that was the best linebacker in this draft on tape. But medicals, short arms, but medicals are the biggest reason that he was not the first one selected that way. And every team's going to view that differently. And hey, do we only need him to come in and give us a couple good years and hold him together the best we can? Try to win a lot of games? Maybe. I mean, again, Mr. Rooney is win now. It's a win now pick. This is not we'll redshirt him. He'll play some special teams, which he'll be great at, and see how it works out down the road. No, he's going to play. I mean, he's really good. I mean, that's the thing is he does everything well. Takes on blockers well. I mean, he flips his hips and runs. He's all over the field. He's one of these defensive players, and I use this all the time. You know, my wife that knows nothing about the game could sit there and watch 60 minutes of NC State football and be like, who's that guy? He's better than everybody else. Yeah, he's better than everybody else, you know? So that's what you're getting. Maybe he's just too good to pass up. Maybe it's a Holcomb thing. But he's a good football player that is going to inject something into your defense. I don't know exactly how that'll work, but my hunch is you make that pick for him to play a lot of downs immediately as a rookie because he's got the head and the athleticism. I hate the word instincts, but you know what I'm saying, to be an immediate contributor at linebacker. So pretty happy with day 2. You know, again, a lot of plug and play guys. The third rounders will have roles, you know, but they're good football players. Again, a lot of snaps combined for these 4 that they've drafted. Your O-line's in great shape. I do think you need a receiver still with size, preferably a veteran. You definitely need a nickel corner. I would think that comes early tomorrow, Saturday. A defensive lineman would be great. Yeah. You also still have cap space that you could go through the league, pick up some Quan Alexander-like veterans, or a team that's a little tight on cap space. You could go get one of their guys, you know, that's maybe a little overpriced or that they need to get out from. So still a lot of flexibility with this team. I like how their plan's coming together. And that's a wrap for me. I am one tired dude, and we will talk again tomorrow. Then I'll probably take a day off from all this, and then we'll probably wrap things up. I don't know. We'll figure that out. All right, take care.